Alright, hello everybody, it is I, Granarite, and here we are back with another episode of Let's Play Assassin's Creed, our next Assassin's Creed game in the lineup. Everything is very loud, it feels like. Maybe not super loud, but, you know, pretty loud. Alright, so we're going to go in and start a new game here. We're just going to be Desmond.
Used to be when people talked about the end of the world, we locked them up. Or laughed them off. Sometimes both. But we never took them seriously. Maybe we should have. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Better to start at the beginning, with the abduction of Desmond Miles, my son. This boy had no ambition, no direction, no plans for the future. What he did have was a heritage, one he chose to deny. It nearly cost him his life. He was captured and imprisoned. Those who took him believed he could help them find something. The apple. One of several artifacts we call pieces of Eden. Bits of ancient technology scattered across the globe. Some hidden, some found, all of them dangerous. Most are held by a single group, the same group that now had Desmond. You know them as Abstergo Industries. We know them as the Templars. As the enemy. We've been fighting them for thousands of years. Even longer if you believe the stories of their origins. I do. After all, I've seen the truth. That's the beauty and the horror of the Animus. A device that allows us to enter and experience the lives of our ancestors. It holds the power to change everything, to show us history the way it really happened. Up until its creation, to the victor went the spoils, went the truth. We're trying to fix that, to free minds and bodies both. But there's only so much that we can do, and the Templars have the upper hand these days. But something larger than the Assassins and Templars is approaching, bigger than all of us. And if we can't find a way to stop it, these next few weeks will probably be our last. Everyone's last. In the end, it all comes down to him. To Desmond. Through the Animus, he discovered his heritage, explored the lives of his ancestors, and uncovered their secrets. When that was done, he trained. He used another ancestor to provide decades of experience in the span of a few days. It worked. We think. We hope. Soon we'll know. That ominous date fast approaches, December 21st, 2012. None of us knows what it'll bring, only that this is where they want us to be, when it does. They've been guiding us in their own fractured, frustrating way. These voices from the first civilization, the ones who came before, a precursor race of immense power and uncertain motives. They're the ones who made the pieces of Eden. This is where they've led him, and through him, us. He stands at the entrance to this long-lost place, armed with the knowledge of Altair and the abilities of Ezio. He holds in his hands the apple of Eden, and we stand at his side, ready to support him, however we can. His name is Desmond Miles, and he has brought us to the end.
Alright, so I know this game's been out for forever, but we're just trying to get 100% for our channel. And we're just playing for fun.
We're here. Let's go.
Alright, we are controlling Desmond here. Can't do anything but just walk. thing still just seems really loud. Just a second. Turn it down just a bit more.
In another moment, down went Alice after it, never once considering how in the world she was to get out again.
Alright, we can run now. Still, some of these effects, holy moly. I apologize.
think we're here.
I apologize for the volume if it is a lot.
The key. You must find the key.
Son?
Sir. Here we go again.
Desmond?
Do you hear us?
Yeah. What happened?
The temple triggered a bleeding effect. You collapsed and entered into a fugue state.
So naturally, you dropped me into the Animus instead of, I don't know, making sure I was okay?
You weren't in any danger. Besides, the temple appeared to be communicating with you, and I didn't want to risk severing the connection. At least not until we knew what it wanted.
Right. Of course.
Son,
No, it's fine. I get it. And I know what I'm looking for, by the way. It's a key. Just no idea where it is, though. I guess that's why she triggered the bleeding effect.
She?
Juno, Dad. She's talking to me.
Okay, Desmond. While you were, visiting Constantinople, we picked up a software update for the Animus. I'd like to run a couple of quick tests, make sure there aren't any major issues.
All right. What do you need me to do?
We'll start simple. Walk to the marker over there. Okay, Desmond. Let's practice climbing on these objects.
All this is pretty normal Assassin's Creed stuff. We know from all the previous games.
this little obstacle course. That's a constraint. These are optional objectives that raise your synchronization rate. Alright, Desmond, follow the on-screen instructions and kill the 2 Templars. All you have to do here is jump the gap.
Oh. Okay.
Synchronization levels look good now. We should be able to build the world. Time to find out what the temple wants from you.
And so you can see we got full 100% synchronization there, and we could replay that. And then here's our full DNA here. We're playing as this fellow. I have played through this game before. I don't think I've ever 100%ed it, but I have beaten the story. It's been a while.
Sir? Sir? Everything all right, sir?
Yes, fine. I'm just preoccupied, that's all.
Don't forget your invitation. Master Birch will be meeting you inside.
Thank you.
Where shall I retrieve you once you're done?
Front of the Opera House. And be quick about it. Don't expect to be here long.
I'll bring her round at once.
All right.
Invitation, please. Shall I take your coat, sir?
Alright, so we got an email. It says we can leave the thing the Animus to read it. We have some recent entries. We have Altair's entry here. Altair was born into the Assassin Brotherhood in the stronghold of Masyaf. In his early life wasn't a happy one. His mother died during childbirth. Then he was a young boy. When he was a young boy, his father was killed during the first siege of Masyaf. Only shortly thereafter, the assassin he died to save committed suicide in front of the 11-year-old Altair. With his parents gone, Altair looked at Al-Mualim, the then mentor of the Order, as a father figure. Al-Mualim recognized Altair's potential and looked on his training personally. Altair reached the rank of Master Assassin by the age of 25, an unheard of accomplishment. If there was an Assassin Book of Records, there would probably be a picture of this fella on the front. Altair was once one of the best fighters in Assassin history, with an arrogance to match. After a disastrous mission in 1191, in which he broke the creed and very nearly let the Apple of Eden fall into Templar hands, Altair was sent back down to novice rank and forced to begin again. As part of his rehabilitation, he was responsible for taking out the major players of the Templar Order at the time, including the Grand Master Robert de Salb. I forget how they pronounce it. Salb. Robert de Salb. Tragically, in the end, he was also forced to kill Al-Mualim, who turned out to be both a Templar and a corrupted by the influence of the After. After his mentor's death, Altair took control of the Order, turning it into a secret and world-spanning organization it is today. One of the things that made Altair such an deadly assassin was something we now call Eagle Vision, a kind of sixth sense inherited from the first civilization. It allowed him to read his enemies and surroundings in a way that goes well beyond human eye can see. Of course, you'll know more about that than me. I can't believe I just typed that because it's in your blood, and that's part of why you're here. It is Assassin's Creed the Crescendabon. You're correct. Well, let's be honest. You knew you weren't here because of my enduring affection or my warm and passionate cuddles. It's Assassin's Creed 3, and it's Granite. The best. And he's on Twitch. So, as you can't tell, it's Sean typing this that we're reading. So we have Ezio Auditore. Ezio Auditore da Firenze was a master assassin during the Italian Renaissance, as well as being the inheritor to the mysterious ability of eager vision of one of your ancestors. You're here for the cuddles. Yeah. Ezio was something of a playboy in his teenage years, but his life changed in 1476 when his father and brothers were arrested and executed for treason. Ezio tried to save them, but the evidence clearing their names mysteriously disappeared in the hands of a family friend. Instead, they were hanged as Ezio looked on. Ezio fled with his mother and sister to Monteregione, where he sought refuge with his uncle Mario Auditore. While Ezio had originally intended to continue on and settle in Spain, Mario had other ideas. He was the leader of the Italian Assassin Brotherhood and spent the next several years training Ezio and convincing him to fight the Templars responsible for their deaths of their father and brothers. You're near at the end of this game, sequence 10 out of 12. Very nice. Ezio spent the next decade assassinating his way through the Templar ranks, eventually courting the Templar Grand Master Rodrigo Borgia in Venice in 1487. Borgia got away, but Ezio was able to recover the Apple of Eden and was formally inducted into the Assassin Order. After several setbacks over the next few years, Ezio traveled to Rome in 1499 to confront Rodrigo, who had then become Pope Alexander VI. After defeating Rodrigo but sparing his life, Ezio opened a hidden vault under the Sistine Chapel where he discovered a message left by the first civilization warning of a catastrophe that would threaten to wipe out humanity. Yes, that would be the one we're facing right now. Over the next 20 years, Ezio worked at strengthening the Italian Assassin Brotherhood and fighting the Templars, which is sort of what we do. Of the three Assassin's Creed play, this, Unity, and Odyssey, this is my least favorite. I heard a lot of people didn't like this one. They didn't really like Connor's character too much. One of his great accomplishments would be discovering a hidden library belonging to Altair hidden underneath the former assassin stronghold at Masyaf and containing another message from the First Brotherhood. He retired from the Brotherhood shortly thereafter, which is what we call ending on a high note. He was terrific at jumping too. Ezio died in Florence in 1524. And then we have the Theatre Royale, which is where we currently are. You might have heard this referred to as the Covent Garden, which it faces, or the Royal Opera House, which it later became. However, this is the original Theatre Royale building. Opened in 1732, destroyed by fire in 1808. It will be rebuilt and then destroyed by fire again in 1857, and then almost completely renovated in the 1990s. They've installed a smoke detector at this time. Haha. The original theater lineup was varied, containing ballet, operas, and even acrobatics. Many of Handel's operas opened here right up until his death in 1759, when he mysteriously stopped writing them. But the building was mainly used for presenting plays, at least for the first 100 years of its history. The reason? It held the exclusive rights to perform spoken drama in London, awarded by King Charles II. Yes, kings could do that. Though why they would is beyond me. And that is our 3 entries that we currently have in our database.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are requested to kindly find your seat.
So we can fast walk here.
Good evening, sir. This way, please.
My apologies.
Can we turn the brightness up just a little bit by chance? Where's my options? Not there, I don't think. Maybe here? Yeah, let's just turn it up 1 notch.
Evening, Haytham.
Reginald?
I can't tell you how happy I was to hear they'd mounted this revival. Gay's best work by far. Have you seen it before?
Once. My father brought me here as a child. Though I remember little of it. I don't suppose tonight will afford me the luxury of a proper viewing either.
No, I'm afraid it won't. On to business then. Do you see him?
He seated in one of the boxes above.
The stairs are watched. You'll need to find another way up.
I already have.
All right.
1,000 pardons. So sorry. My apologies.
So we got a database entry for Reginald Birch, born in 1705. Reginald Birch was a London merchant, the son of another London merchant who, conveniently enough, had also had the last name Birch. It seems that it's one of those hard to put your finger on things that ran in the family. Birch started in business for himself at an early age. You don't care for Connor's character. The controls are a bit annoying when trying to move around, and the optional objectives are frustrating at times when you're trying to get 100% synchronization. Yeah, I can agree with that. He already owns several merchant ships, mainly dealing with tea trade in the American colonies. That's pretty good going, seeing as by this time most people aren't in their mid-20s, don't even own a shirt. I have him as part owner of Providence, among others. Part owner of the Providence, among others. Later in life, Birch also owned several businesses in and around London. He was a member of White's, which is a posh gentleman's club in London, and generally as a well-known, respected man about town. From what I can tell, Birch met Haytham Kenway while working for his father, Edward. They were introduced at White's while Haytham was still quite young. Birch would eventually take over Haytham's education, tutoring him while on a tour of Europe in the 1730s. From what we've seen in the Animus, it seems their friendship continued to adulthood, with them working together as members of the Assassins. It still amazes me that nobody sees him climbing, but I guess they are enamored with the play. Smooch in there. Come on, Haytham. Well, we're going to be experiencing all those frustrating 100% synchronization optional objectives. Teaching us how to lockpick now. I wish you luck on some of them and hope you do better with them than I have. Well, yeah, we'll see. I thank you for the good luck, though.
Jeremy's really burning up the boards tonight. He's a marvel.
Jeremy is such a marvel.
Haytham. You should have come to me. We would have found another way. Yes. But then you would have known. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. As am I.
Look at that boy with them creepy eyes. You gotten the side stuff almost all to do with the side missions, except for the 2 that you need to redo. Gotcha. Congrats. Both are ship ones. Is it the one where you gotta destroy the ships by blowing up the powder keg? That one's I find was the hardest. Okay, we didn't get any new database entries, did we? Oh, we did. The Beggar's Opera. The Beggar's Opera in London opened in London in 1728. It's a musical, one of the earliest ever created. It's written by John Gay, a writer and friend of Alexander Pope, and Jonathan Swift. 2 are prominent literary figures of the day. The opera was both popular and controversial. Popular partly because it was excellent skewering of Italian opera, which is very popular at the time. However, instead of complicated Italian song, the Beggar's Opera featured folk tunes that the audience could recognize, meaning you could hum along with even if you didn't know Italian. Yeah, that one. You did too when I did it the first time, but I couldn't get the last one to show up. Gotcha. It was controversial because of the subject matter. It is set in Newgate Prison, and the main characters are all criminals who act much like the upper classes. It was a send-up of British nobility, including veiled criticism of the head of government, neither of whom traditionally have a sense of humor. I've never met a queen who liked to not joke. Actually, I've never met a queen. Beggar's Opera was accused of being a base form of entertainment, and because its main characters are criminals, accused of causing increasing crime. It's nice to see that criticism isn't just for movies and video games, buddy opera, corrupting our kids. Oh, Sean.
Come, please!
Over there! That's the one that did the murder! That man there!
Yeah, I do remember that one was pretty tough.
I've done no wrong, I swear. Search him. Any weapons?
That mission in particular.
Let us through. Peace, friends, there is no danger!
There's a particular way you need to get the powder keg spots to show up. Like, I think it's by hitting a certain spot over and over and over.
It happened right in that balcony. What are those men doing in there? I'm staying where it's safe. Peace, friends, there is no danger. Move! Move! Imbecile!
Excuse me?
Where are you going?
I guess these guys are walking faster than me. The mission where you're at the Battle of Bunker Hill is very frustrating, with the final objective failing so many times when you had it when all done it correctly. Yeah, is that where you have to air assassinate him, or you have to not get damaged, or is it both? I can't honestly remember. We'll get there. Assassinate the guy without being seen, but you have a limited window. That's oh yes, I remember. Well, we're gonna be hopping into some Pokemon after this stream.
Rather dull, truth be told.
So I hope you're looking forward to that.
Shall we be off then?
Aye. To Fleet and Bride.
By your command.
Look, it's a ring.
Fascinating. Gentlemen, I hold in my hand a key. And if this book is to be believed, it will open the doors of a storehouse built by those who came before.
Ah, yes. Those who ruled, reigned, and vanished from the world. Do we know what it is that will be held within?
It could contain certain knowledge. Perhaps a weapon, or something as yet unknown, unfathomable in its construction and purpose.
Yeah, thanks.
Things,
have fun lurking. Feel free to chat when you have a chance, if you want to.
They are still an enigma, these precursors. But of one thing I am certain. Whatever waits behind those doors shall prove a great boon to us all.
Or our enemies, should they find it first.
They won't. You've seen to that.
I assume you know where this storehouse is?
Ah, Mr. Harrison.
Gentlemen.
How fare your calculations?
I believe the site lies somewhere within this region.
That's a lot of ground to cover.
My apologies. Were that I could be more accurate.
That's all right. It suffices for a start. And that is why we've called you here, Master Kenway. We'd like for you to travel to America, locate the storehouse, and take possession of its contents.
I'm yours to command, although a job of this magnitude will require more than just myself.
Of course. Upon this paper are the names of 5 men sympathetic to our cause. Each is also uniquely suited to aid you in your endeavor. With them at your side...
Oh, look at that pixelation.
Well, then I'd best be on my way.
I knew our faith in you was not misplaced. We've booked you passage to Boston. Your ship leaves at dawn. Go forth, Haytham, and bring honor to us all.
What is this, Mulan? Right. The Atlantic Ocean, Day 2.
Some fresh air might do me good.
Alright, we have the Providence, which is the ship they talked about earlier. The Providence was one of many sailing ships in the British Merchant Navy, which basically means it was a trade ship rather than one meant for war. You'll notice it's carry cannon, but those are mainly for protection against pirates or privateer vessels, or for turning the ship into a privateer vessel should the need arise. The ship was built in 1748 and made several trips a year between Britain and the North American colonies, with occasional visits to the West Indies. The manifest doesn't indicate any particularly interesting, mostly it carried staples like tea, molasses, and cloth. It's captained by its part owner, one Samuel Smythe, who got something of a reputation among sailors for both cruelty to his crew and pinching on rations. Incidentally, that's not exactly a good way to keep good sailors on board. The crew is probably both inexperienced and disgruntled. Ideally, you want an experienced crew who are hugely gruntled. Although you likely don't know much about running an 18th century sailing vessel, odds are you won't notice the difference. So it looks like there's some people we can talk to back here. As you can see on the map, we have a couple little talk signals.
Good morning, Doctor.
To you as well.
A question, if I may. Do you serve aboard the ship, or are you simply taking passage?
A bit of both, actually. I've been commissioned by the Royal Navy to study maritime illness. I'll be observing the crew during the journey. We have found that sailors fare far better on the open seas than the rest of us. I hope to discover why that is.
Well, I hope you are successful in your endeavors.
As do I. Thank you for the kind words.
A moment to talk?
Ah, a fellow Londoner. Good to see I'm not the only man of means aboard. Rupert Martin. Pleased to meet you.
Haytham Kenway. Pleasure.
Seems we picked an excellent time to leave the city.
Oh?
You didn't hear about the murder at the Opera House?
No. What happened?
They're still trying to sort it all out. And I suspect they'll be at it for a good long while.
Any word on the motive?
They've ruled out robbery, so perhaps it was a business arrangement gone sour. Or something more personal. More lurid. Who knows? But I am glad to be away from it. The city grows more dangerous by the day.
Good talk. Alright, well, looks like we can get up on deck through this staircase. The Atlantic Ocean. Oh my goodness. Of course, crossing the Atlantic today is as easy as a plane ride, but it was much more difficult in colonial times, even though I imagine the tiny food and cramped conditions and likelihood of sitting next to a fat man for many hours were pretty much the same. Haha. For European travelers, it was at best a 6-week voyage, but depending on delays, it could last months. Dangers include storms and their opposite being becalmed, seasickness, food running short, and dying of boredom because you had nothing to do all day. For Africans captured into slavery, the Atlantic voyage was much worse across the Middle Passage, usually to the Caribbean. The journey was just as long, but slaves were kept below decks and rarely allowed out in the fresh air, with the men usually in shackles. They were given only one meal a day, less if provisions ran low. Disease was rampant and mortality rates were high. I will never complain about being inappropriately touched by airport security again, though to be fair, we're now firm friends, and Juan was very gentle. Again, Sean's humor. I'm glad they really littered that out through the game, because I do find it funny.
Captain?
Mr. Kenway.
I just wanted to thank you again for taking me aboard, and apologize for any inconvenience it may have caused.
Inconvenience would be an understatement.
I'm sorry, I don't follow.
My ship was held in port for 2 days that we might accommodate you. I lost several contracts as a result.
I had no idea.
Of course not. You nobles are all the same.
We can talk to them, but there's another gentleman up here. It looks like we can talk to the helmsman.
Hello, sir.
Do you expect we'll have a pleasant crossing?
It is a quiet time of year, though rogue storms and troubled waters are not unheard of. But no need to fret. At worst, they'll prove an inconvenience. I'm more concerned about pirates and rogue privateers.
Have you encountered them before?
Aye. But the Providence is a strong ship, and her crew well trained. They will surely keep us safe.
Alright, let's go talk to the men with the marker above them.
And then all will be well.
You sure about that?
Of course. Have I ever led you astray?
Nah. Though you don't sit right with the others.
Have faith, my friend. You'll see.
Well, well. Seems our esteemed guest has deigned to grace us with his presence. You might want to head back to your quarters. Top deck's no place for tender parnells.
So I thought. And yet here you are.
Oh. Fancy yourself a joker, eh? Let's see how funny you find this.
That's enough, Graves.
Stay out of this.
Listen to this, Hector. Thinks he can swagger on up here and declare himself king of the castle.
Please, fellas, call this off. If the captain sees us...
To hell with the captain. And to hell with you, Mills. Whose side you on, anyway?
We're ready to go again if you are.
This is unwise.
Why's that? You think I'm afraid of you?
No. But you should be.
Boom!
Do you? Never! How do you like these odds?
What's the meaning of this?
Captain,
Explain yourself at once, Mr. Kenway.
these thought we were simply passing the time with a bit of sport, Captain.
How about you pass the time by doing your goddamn jobs instead? I wasn't aware I was paying you to loll about. A word, please, Mr. Kenway.
Oh, I nearly forgot. There's your knife back.
I don't care for you, Mr. Kenway. I've had nothing but trouble since you came aboard.
Your problems have nothing to do with me.
I beg your pardon?
You're a poor leader, ill-tempered and cruel, and it's clear your crew has no respect for you.
Wow.
Look, I don't want to
That's
argue.
pretty nice.
In fact, I need a favor.
Oh, this is rich.
I suspect some of the men intend to mutiny.
Really? What a surprise.
As I cannot trust any of them, I am compelled to turn to you.
And why should I help you?
Because if they do intend to betray, I'm the only hope you have of reaching America alive. Well, what will it be?
If what you say is true, what other choice do I have?
Thank you.
But let me be clear. Should you ever dare to insult or threaten me again, I'll not hesitate but to cut off your head myself.
Wow.
Are we understood? Excellent.
That's a good little scared shake.
Good day.
All right, day 28 of the voyage. So we were on day 2 before. So more than 3 weeks has passed.
Mr. Kenway.
Captain?
Whatever they're up to, I believe it's coming to a head.
I'd best get to work.
Alright, investigate the crew.
He's cut our rations again. Claims we're not provisioned for such luxuries.
It's not right that you should feast on land, wine. We're stuck with
You looking for another fight? That it? Go away.
Good talk. They want us to talk there. We're gonna see if we can get these other conversations.
I ain't got nothing to say to you.
Okay.
Quite the basting you gave Graves and Quill.
Wasn't by choice.
Aye. Blockheads, the both of them. Where are my manners? Louis Mills. Pleased to meet you.
Haytham Kenway. So, should I be watching my back?
I think the boys learned their lesson. They're normally not so nasty. Honest, it's just the past few crossings have been a bit rough.
Oh?
Captain's trying to cut costs. Reduced rations, lower wages, more dangerous cargo. It's put the crew on edge.
Is there cause for concern, then?
Not if I can help it. But the captain needs to think about the way he treats his men.
Before we go on, let's check and see if we have any more database entries. We got one, Louis Mills. Louis Mills is a deckhand originally from where we British somewhat optimistically called Sunny Brighton. He got his love of the sea from his father, who is also a sailor. He first took young Louis to sea with him at the age of 10, sailing from London to Boston on a vessel named the Windward. As he grew older, Mills kept working as a merchant marine, traveling the world and getting a reputation as a reliable, level-headed sailor. He joined the crew of the Providence in 1752, staying with the captain and crew through a variety of hardships, though by 1755 he was thinking of moving on.
You there! I have some questions for you.
That's nice, but I ain't got time to gossip. Probably wouldn't have anything useful to share anyway. You want information? Try the cook or the doctor. Everyone's always chatting them up.
Alright, well we already talked to the doctor once, so let's talk to the cook.
Won't be serving for another couple hours. Some biscuits in the barrel if you're desperate.
Actually, I've come with a question.
What's that?
Have any of the men been acting strange recently? Said anything that struck you as out of the ordinary?
The boys cry about the rations, as if there's anything I can do about it. But beyond that, I ain't heard much. My advice, go find James. His ears are always open.
And where might I find him?
Right behind you, actually. He's the one sitting on the barrel.
Wonder if we can still go talk to the doctor, but it doesn't look like we can. Nope.
Are you James?
Hi.
Haytham Kenway. Pleased to meet you.
I know who you are.
I was hoping you could answer some questions.
I figured as much, but not here. Follow me. So, what do you want to know?
Have you seen or heard anything out of the ordinary since we left port? Anything that gives cause for concern?
Some of the men have been gathering at night on the upper deck. I've only caught bits of their conversations, so I couldn't say for certain what they're up to. But I suspect it bodes ill.
Is it a mutiny they're planning?
All I know is they've little love for the captain. Mills has been trying to talk him down, but there's only so much one man can do.
Thank you for the information.
I only wish to see us reach the colonies alive.
Alright, look for clues at the stern, it says.
Evening, sir.
How are things?
Calm and quiet. Just the way I like it. What brings you topside?
Thought I'd wander a bit. Stretch my legs. That's all.
Take care where you tread. The deck hides all manner of danger in the dark.
What was that? Someone's throwing cargo overboard. But why?
He's a shifty fella. Won't hardly
He's cut our rations again. Claims we're not provisioned for such luxuries.
It's not right that you should feast on lamb and wine whilst we're stuck with tinned fish and biscuits.
Thought we could talk to someone here, but I guess we can't now. Anyways, we're gonna look here. We found this clue.
Curious. Most curious.
Alright, so this is day 33, so we were at 28 before, so this is 5 days later.
Any news? Each night it's the same. I scout one area, and they drop the painted barrels from another. I'm going to need to recruit an extra pair of eyes. Maybe James or Mills.
Why are they doing this?
Near as I can tell, the barrels serve as markers. They're leaving a trail. My theory is it's only a matter of time before whoever's following it.
Ship sighted aft! She's making ready to fire!
Beat to quarters, men! Ready the... Brace! Everybody down! A warning shot! Seems they don't mean to sink us, but board us instead! Man the cannons! Make ready to fight! I want you below decks!
Why? Let me help you secure the ship.
Do you know how to rig a sail? To load a cannon? To wage war at sea? I didn't think so. Now return to your cabin, or do I need to have you escorted? Secure the hatch!
Haytham.
Have you been topside? A ship's appeared and means to board us. It's strange. There's no sign of mutiny aboard. Doesn't make sense.
Ah, but it does.
What do you mean?
Did you think you could escape from London so easily after what you did at the opera? That we wouldn't notice? That we wouldn't follow?
Ah. So that's what this is about.
Surrender, and I will see that you are treated with honor.
If you wish to treat me with honor, give me a sword.
I like the water splashing through the ship. That's funny.
You sure this is how you want to play it?
Oh, I don't. Can I disarm him, I wonder? Still can't just counter kill him. Splash, splash, that's right.
I told you to stay below decks.
I did as you asked. Only Mills was there waiting for me. He's the one that drew that ship here. There was no mutiny, only him.
What do they want?
Me.
Then they can have you.
Is that so?
You'll catch us anyway. There's nothing to be done.
I can think of something.
You wish us to sail into the storm?
It's our only chance.
I won't do it.
Then I will.
All right, all right.
Later that day, in the storm.
We need those ropes secured! I told you this was madness.
Calm yourself. I'll fix your sail for you.
I playing the Haytham much more than Connor. I wish we could have just played as him. I think a lot of people wish that. Does it sound loud to you, Rashinabon? Yes, I have played Black Flag. Yeah, how is the volume? Is the volume okay?
We need more speed! Loose the sails! Haytham, you take the foremast! James!
Okay, I just want to make sure. I really kind of played with it a bit. Come on. You didn't care much for the ship sections in this game? Gotcha. Is the ship better in Black Flag, or is it like in this game? I think Black Flag is great. I love Black Flag. By far, out of all the Assassin's Creed I played, that's my favorite. What was that?
Oh, thank you, thank you.
What was that beep? Lightning strike. For the Black Flag was really good. We have to pick it up sometime. I highly recommend it. You can wait till I get there if you want, or you can start to play it yourself. I loved Black Flag. There is a lot of ship sections in it, especially if you want to do everything. You will be on that boat a lot, but I think it is great. Your autocorrect, though, as Black Flag is really funny to me. You hear the birds. Odyssey has quite a bit of ship parts, too, and it was pretty fun. Gotcha.
Make ready for our arrival, men!
Arrival? I see no land, only this interminable fog.
The gulls tell us all we need to know. Climb into the crow's nest and you'll see.
Yeah, auto-rec can be really annoying sometimes. We're probably going to see the game title screen. Probably going to get really loud here with the music. These games are pretty notorious for doing that. Love the intros that take up so much time. Yeah, our first episode is the intro. Ubisoft presents Assassin's Creed 3. Journey to the New World, Sequence 1. One thing that I don't like in the games is where you have to walk from one scene to the next and don't do anything between.
Master Kenway! Master Kenway!
Yes, may I help you?
Charles Lee, sir. A pleasure to make your acquaintance. I've been asked to introduce you to the city, help you settle in. Oh, no need, sir. I've arranged for your bags to be delivered to the inn.
Are you by any chance John and Isabella's son?
One and the same.
Alright, Charles Lee. Charles Lee was a British soldier who went to be a major figure in the Revolutionary War. Lee's father was a colonel in the British Army and started his son off in a military career early. He was sent to a military academy in Switzerland during his formative years, and then in 1746, Lee became an ensign in his father's regiment. Lee was sent to the colonies in 1755 to fight in the French and Indian War. He served under Edward Braddock and then later at Fort Ticonderoga, where he was injured in the fighting. Lee recovered and fought at Fort Niagara. I always thought that there was a lot of I always thought there was a lot of fort fights fought. He finished his time in the colonies with the British conquest of Montreal, Cutscene, walk 5 steps. Cutscene, walk 10 steps. Cutscene. Lee returned to England in 1760, possibly because he was seeking career advancement. He was named major in 1761 and was sent to fight the Spanish in Portugal. Though his service record there was good, Lee didn't receive praise on his return home. In fact, he retired from the army at half pay. After that, Lee became a vocal critic of the military higher-ups and the British Prime Minister, and found that his military career had inexplicably completely stalled.
Your commission is with Edward Braddock, is it not?
Aye. But he's yet to reach America, and I figured I might... Well, at least until he arrives. I thought...
Yes? Out with it.
Forgive me, sir. I had hoped that I might study under you. If I am to serve the Order, I can imagine no better mentor than yourself.
Bloody hell. Kind of you to say, but I think you overestimate me.
Impossible, sir.
Please!
This way.
Someone stop him!
All right, Charles, where are we going? We're going to the end.
Boston's
that's right.
quite a lively city.
There's all manner of things to see and do. Once you've settled in, I suggest you take some time to walk the streets. Who knows what opportunities you might discover.
Hold a moment. I need to fetch a few things before we get to work.
I'll arrange for horses while you do that.
All right, find a general store. It says there's one this way.
Damn sprigs. This accursed city will be the death of me.
You seem troubled, friend.
That's because I am. Greatly so, in fact.
What's happened?
I was robbed. The old Balkan file. Though I've managed to restore what's mine, I fear it's ruined.
You mean the book?
This is no ordinary book. It's an almanac. The first I ever wrote. Benjamin Franklin. Pleased to meet you.
Haytham Kenway.
You must be new to Boston.
Why do you say that?
You're still possessed of virtue. To stop and help an old lout like myself. I don't mean to impose, but you seem a spry fellow. Should you happen to find my missing pages, I'll reward you.
Look, I'm not sure if
It's all right, all right. If you have the time, hurrah! If not, no harm done. The thing is useless in its current state anyway. But should you somehow manage to restore it, you'll find me inside that general store over there.
Well, that was interesting.
All right, so we have some Connect Almanacs 1733 volume, pages 104. We have Benjamin Franklin here, born in 1706. Benjamin Franklin was a renowned inventor, diplomat, and one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. Translation, he was a rock star of the age. Benjamin Franklin was born in Boston in 1706, the 10th son of a soap maker. 10 sons. I guess his parents couldn't afford a television. And also, there was no television. He began working for his brother in 1718 as an apprentice printer. However, the relationship was rocky, particularly after the elder Franklin found out that the young Benjamin had been writing for the paper under a pseudonym, Silence Dogood, and writing an extremely popular column at that. Human nature being what it is, the fact that the column was popular was probably the bigger problem. Benjamin ran away in 1723 and headed for Philadelphia, where he continued his career in printing and writing, eventually buying the Pennsylvania Gazette. Grabbing those almanacs was annoying for some of them. Yes, they can be, for sure. The business, I mean, not just a copy. That would have been one of his lesser achievements. He stayed in Philadelphia for most of his life, that is, when he wasn't making extended trips to Europe. Franklin had a talent for persuasion that made him an ideal diplomat. In 1757, he went to London to represent Pennsylvania in the ongoing legal battle with the Penn family. It was the first of several extended political trips to Britain, and he would act as a state representative for Massachusetts, Georgia, and New Jersey as well. In fact, Franklin was in Europe for most of the Revolution, though he was in the colonies to help with the writing of the Declaration of Independence. Franklin was a vocal opponent of the British impositions on the colonies, like the Stamp Act, and although he first fought for the rights of colonists as British citizens, he eventually became convinced, like many of the Founding Fathers, that independence was the only real solution. Unfortunately, Franklin's change of heart made him clash with his son William, who served as the royal governor of New Jersey. William remained an active loyalist, and the father and son never spoke again. When he wasn't founding a new nation and destroying his family in the process, Franklin was a scientist, inventing things like bifocals and more efficient wood stoves when he wasn't mapping the Gulf Stream and discovering how electricity worked. What have you done today? Made yourself a microwave meal and sat about in your underwear? Oh, well done you. He was also quite the lady killer. Jesus, this guy carrying out several friendships with women while he was in Europe. The records don't say much what they saw in him, certainly not his looks, maybe women like a man who's intelligent. If that was true, I wouldn't be here. I'd be in Portugal surrounded by them, and you'd be looking at a blank screen. And then we have Faneuil Hall. Don't let the French spelling confuse you. The name of this building is pronounced Faneuil or Fanel. Getting it wrong is a good way to indicate you're not from here, but it's also a great way of proving you're not French, which in my experience is a real boon. Also, if you want to pass as a local, you should take a good look at the Wetterving. It's a Boston landmark. Legend has it that at the War of 1812, suspected spies were asked what was on top of Faneuil Hall. Only a true local would be able to say it was a grasshopper. The building was named after Peter Faneuil, a local merchant who paid to build it. It was meant as a place for local farmers to sell their goods, so their carts would stop crowding the streets, and also so you didn't have to walk near farmers. However, the meeting hall on the second floor, which gives the building its nickname, Cradle of Liberty, that's rather ostentatious and, dare I say, American as a nickname, but it's not inaccurate. People met here to protest the Stamp Act, and the first anti-tea tax meetings were also held here. Anti-British meetings occasionally drew crowds so large that the building couldn't even hold them, at which point they went to the Old South Meeting Hall. During the Siege of Boston, the meeting hall here was made over into a theater. Since plays were of any kind were banned in Boston under ordinary circumstances, something I think should still be a law, actually. This is yet another example of the British loyalty sticking it to the rebels. We also have a courier quest here. What's this? To deliver letters, committees of correspondence. Since the American Revolution happened in the dark days before the internet and even before telephones, organizing colonial opposition to the British was a little tricky, and I don't want to make you cry, but these clowns didn't even have dial-up. The solution was to send out riders bearing letters to inform colonists in other areas of what was going on. These became known as the Committees of Correspondence. Correspondence being a fancy name for letters. If you did not know this, I'm amazed that you've even read this far. Actually, I'm amazed you can read this far. Samuel Adams created one of the first committees of correspondence in Boston in 1772. In particular, he wanted to keep people outside of Boston informed of town meetings, so the governor could invite only his friends to meetings. That would be less of a meeting, more of a dinner party. Perhaps unsurprisingly, Adams' committee worked so well that everyone started doing it. Eventually, all the colonies had their own committees focused on presenting a united front against British-imposed taxes and supporting boycotts of British goods. Really, Adams should have patented the idea. He could have made a fortune. So it wants us to deliver these letters around here on the courier mission that we have.
Good to see you, my friend.
Buy a pistol and a sword, it says. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Follow lead to the Green Dragon on horseback. We're going, before we do that, we're going to go deliver these letters really quick. A bunch of grapes is what we have here. This is one of the meeting places of the Sons of Liberty. The attraction of this particular tavern may be at the library, which included many anti-British books, or it may have been its reputation as the finest punch house in Boston, or it may even been its location, which is right down the street from the old State House, where legislators met and where the Boston Massacre occurred. Or it might have been Darts Night. What I love is the fact that the Patriots met in taverns to imply all kinds of things about them. I should point out that taverns were places to do business as well as drink, and that alcohol was viewed as, more or less, a cure for all ills. You waiting for a punchline? It's actually true. Those are the kind of doctor's orders I crave. So this first letter is this way. Markets. Let's see what we got here. There's a number of public markets in the colonies, meaning you can get supplies easily. Of course, paying for goods is another matter, as currency was incredibly complex. People paid in English, Spanish, French, and Portuguese coins, wampum, New Jersey and New York bills, magic beans, laundromat coins. The list goes on. We've simplified everything down to you in the Animus. You're welcome. While some markets sold a variety of goods, like Faneuil Hall in Boston, others are more specialized. New York's Colonies slip was mainly a fish market, though like most markets, it sold little of everything. While if you're in the market for African slaves, Peck's Slip was the place to go. Yes, slavery was legal at the time, though it was less common in Boston than New York, which had the largest slave population in the North. Don't be surprised to see European servants for sale either. Some were sold for a fixed number of years to pay back their passage to the New World, a much better deal than slaves were offered. Oh, okay, so I cannot deliver the letters right now. I must go do this.
We ride for the Green Dragon Tavern. The proprietors are eccentric, but the rooms are spacious and they do not pry.
Have you been told why it is I've come to Boston?
No, Master Birch said I should know only as much as you saw fit to share. He sent me a list of names and bade me ensure you could find them.
And have you had any luck with that?
Aye. William Johnson waits for us at the Green Dragon.
How well do you know him?
Not well, but he saw the order's mark and did not hesitate to come.
Prove yourself loyal to our cause. And you may yet know our plans as well.
I should like nothing more, sir.
And here's the Green Dragon Tavern. This tavern is sometimes called the headquarters of the revolution, though I imagine when it is, they pronounce it headquarters of the revolution, because overthrowing the government in a pub is a thirsty work. It was also popular place for people like Paul Revere and Samuel Adams to sit with their friends and plot. Up until 1754, the tavern was owned by William Douglas. When he died, the property was left to his daughter Catherine Kerr and his nephew Cornelian Douglas. They divided their inheritance equally, and it seems got along famously. The Freemasons bought the tavern in 1766 and renamed it the Freemasons' Arms, which didn't actually stick because the sign above the door was still a green dragon. Freemasons, the secret society everyone knows about. Let's get a pub where we can meet in a complete secret and no one will ever know about it. Brilliant. What should we call it? How about the Freemasons' Arms? Legend has it that Paul Revere's ride was planned here, but that's unlikely. By 1774, Revere had been warned that the British were listening in on his meetings and therefore stopped making super secret plans in public where anyone could hear them. Someone tell the Masons. You know where to find them. New weapons in the shop. Okay, and it looks like we can go deliver these letters now. Can you please get down from there? The other guy's on the table too. Did we get any more entries here? We have not. Try to read those as we get them. And then there's one more in that direction. The old meeting house. We'll read this really quick. The bells of this church rang out in the hours leading up to the Boston Massacre as crowds were gathering to taunt soldiers in front of the State House. In Boston at the time, church bells were rung when there was a fire, so people ran to the streets to see what was happening. That swelled the crowd, making tensions between the people and the British soldiers much worse. It ended, of course, in soldiers firing into the crowd, killing 5 people. And this concludes our lesson on how church bells could be used to incite riots in colonial America. And we get 500 monies for that. And then we're going to exit the Animus, and we're going to look at our emails to end this episode.
What are you working on?
Lots of different stuff. If you're going into the field, we need a way to keep tabs on you and stay in touch. Hacking into local security systems won't cut it.
Thanks.
For what?
I don't know. Everything. You've sacrificed a lot for me. You and Sean both. I mean, you upgraded the Animus, you helped train me, pulled me out of that coma. You put all that work into the database and helped me solve Clay's puzzles. I know I haven't been the easiest person to work with, and I'm sorry for that. I just want you to know that even if I'm shitty at showing it, I appreciate everything you've done.
You really think we'll finally get some answers down here?
Maybe. Talking to the first Civ has always been a pain in the ass, though.
Imagine what it must be like for them.
What do you mean?
They've been separated from us by tens of thousands of years. A completely different language and culture. Possessed of an intelligence vastly superior to our own. We're lucky they've communicated as much as they have.
I don't know why they had to make this all so complicated. I mean, if they need something from me, they should just come out and say it.
I've been wondering about that myself. I get the sense Juno and Minerva didn't exactly see eye to eye. I'm studying everything I can get my hands on, but maybe you'll find something down here that can shed light on the mystery. What happened between them, and why?
What do you think's behind that door?
No idea.
Do you think it can save us?
The first Civ seemed to think so.
What if it's dangerous?
It's not like we have a lot of alternatives.
What am I doing up here?
Well, we could... I don't know, warn the president?
And what's he gonna do? Who's to say he isn't in bed with Abstergo? Seems everyone is these days.
What do you think?
Oh, so it's gonna do this one because I didn't get
No
it all
idea.
last time because I climbed up that thing for some reason.
It can save us?
The first Civ seemed to think so.
What if it's dangerous?
It's not like we have a lot of alternatives.
Well, we could... I don't know, warn the president?
And what's he gonna do? Who's to say he isn't in bed with Abstergo? Seems everyone is these days.
What if we went to them? To Abstergo, I mean.
I thought about it, actually. Showing them what we've seen, trying to work together. They must know so much more than we do, but...
What is it?
It's possible they know exactly what's going to happen. That they want it to happen. I mean, for all we know, they're hiding out in bunkers right now, waiting for the world to end. And then when it's all over, out they come. Ready to take control.
God, I hope you're wrong.
So do I, Rebecca. So do I.
Alright, I should be getting back to work.
Alright, so she's done with the stuff that she wants to say to us. That's the computer we can interact with. So let's go talk with our dad and Sean first.
Yes?
Just thought I'd, say hi.
You have more important things to do right now.
Jesus, Dad.
What? What do you want me to say?
I don't know. Hi, son. How are you? What have you been up to?
I know what you've been up to. Nothing. You wasted away in some shitty apartment with a pointless job, while the rest of us were out there fighting to make a difference.
You are such an asshole. Are you thinking about hitting me again? Because this time, I will hit back.
Let's just get back to work, okay?
Alright, let's see if we can find Sean. Looks like he's up here.
Would you look at that?
What is it?
If I had to guess, I would say it's a counter. And judging from the iconography, I think it's safe to say when that's emptied, the end begins. Honest answer, please, Desmond. Do you think we're getting out of this alive?
I don't know. I mean, it's a pretty tall order. If the first Civ couldn't save the world, how the hell are we supposed to swing it?
We have some time.
We have less than 2 months. They had decades and a lot more resources. And the worst part is we knew this was coming for, what, hundreds of years?
History repeats, it seems. The first Civ was so busy with their war against us, no one even noticed what was happening. We get advance warning and then fall to fighting with the Templars. Lovely.
Hopefully, whatever's behind that door will make a difference.
And if it doesn't, well, at least we tried. Back to work I go. You should consider doing the same.
Alright, so they're done talking with us. Let's go check these emails, and then we're going to call it an episode. Alright, so we have these. Okay, these are oldest at the top. Hello, this is from Rebecca Crane. Had a bit of downtime while you were gone, so I figured I could do the upgrading and for what I could do to upgrade the operating system. It's actually been ready for a little while now, but the Animus in safe mode, I wasn't about to try an installation. Things I did. It should be we, since I had a few other people in other cells chip in. Modifications to the targeting system. You should be able to move in and out of combat more easily. Free running improvements. You're less likely to jump at the wrong time in the wrong direction. Only one input for interacting with the world. No more choosing between body parts of your ancestors. You can assassinate while moving. Definitely try it out ASAP. You can pick up weapons on the go as well. We implemented a weather system, rain, snow, wind. It's all there. Animals, enough said. Faster fast travel. Just open up your map and you can instantly travel to any unlocked fast travel station. Revamp the map. Now it provides lots of additional information. You've got more control over what it shows. There's a ton of other stuff, but your dad is yelling at me to get back to work, so I better wrap this up and hit you up on the side as you come across new features. That's what it says. So this is from Sean. First of all, welcome back. It's good to see you fully recovered. I can't imagine what it was like for you trapped in there. If you ever want to chat about it, just let me know. Anyways, you'll find the database essentially unchanged aside from a few cosmetic upgrades. As before, you'll receive a notification when I've added a new entry. I'll also let you know of if any of the entries are updated, as is often the case when you're dealing with these conspiratorial ancestors of yours. This is from William, our father. I know it's easy to get distracted while inside the Animus, but I'm hoping everyone can stay focused. Here, we need to find that key as soon as possible. Also, do not go exploring the tunnel without first clearing it with me, and carry your headset with you at all times. Can't afford to lose anyone because curiosity got the better of them. We're short-handed as it is. Sean Hastings, balls. We got a visitor down here. It's Juno. She's been appearing every now and then, sort of flits through the air, reminds us to guard you well, find the key, blah, blah, then poof, disappears. At first, we thought it was just another holographic recording, but then your father called her some rather choice words, and she glared at him. Honest. Swiveled those eyes in his direction and frowned. Creeped me out. I don't know if she's reaching out to us from the past, if some part of her is actually still conscious, or if maybe she's inside the apple like some evil genie. Whatever it is, gives me the creeps. On that note, happy Halloween. So this is on November 1st, Haytham's Amulet. Though I suppose Haytham's Amulet is technically a piece of Eden, it's not particularly exciting. It functions as a key, and, well, that's about it. I know. We're all used to these things being incredibly powerful and thus rather dangerous, but this one is neither. Is it weird I'm disappointed? That said, it's still critical to our mission, so I suppose that counts for something. And that is the missions that are the emails that we've got. So we're going to end this episode here. We do really hope you enjoyed the first episode. We'll be back with more as we can. And we'll see you next time. I'm going to take a short break from streaming just for a few minutes, use the restroom and such. And then we'll be back with some Pokemon.